I recently read that only 1/3 of the German homeowners have filled in the property tax return for 2022. The deadline has just been extended from 31st of October to 31st of January 2023. I also get frequently asked the question on how to fill up the form. So in this video, I'm going to show you how the form is going to be filled with the official tool called Elster. I'll demonstrate how to fill the form for the federal model of calculation, and I'm saying this because not all states in Germany adapted to that. This model is used by 11 of 16 states. The other 5 states have minor details which have been changed, but the mode of filling in the form is the same. My name is Ajay, and in this channel I'm going to show you how to buy a house here in Germany. As starters, you will need an account with Elster. Once you apply for the account, it will take a couple of days to receive the letter from the local tax authority. Once you have that, you can start filling in the form for the property tax. To speed up the process of filling it out, please have your tax IDs ready, Steuernummer, as well as the Identifikationsnummer. Please also have your land register, which is the Grundbuchauszug, at hand. If you received the letter from the finance authorities called Informations zur Grundsteurreform, have that handy as well. Please be aware that 2 states did not send out this information letters. In this case, you will need to look at your land register as well as make use of the information system on plot values called BOS. Link I'm going to put down in the description below.
All right, let's start with filling out the form at Elster. I'll put the link below in the description so that you know where to navigate to. Elster is the official tool from the German finance authorities, so you can do nothing wrong here. It's free of charge anyway, so the prerequisite for this is to have an account there, which takes around 1 to 2 weeks to get it set up. Now, let's log in. You are free to choose any of these 5 options, whether you want to log in with a certificate file, with your German citizenship ID, with a security stick, with a card, or with a mobile login, for which you obviously also need to have an account. I have a certificate file, which I frequently use for filing my taxes, hence I'll use this one. All right, it's going to take a couple of seconds to log in, and then we will have a look at which kind of options we have here. But what we'll be looking at is choosing Formulare und Leistungen. And here we'll choose the option Alle Formulare, which will have all forms available. And the one which we are looking for today is Grundsteuer, property tax. And because we're doing this today with a real-life example of one of my properties, and because I live in Nordrhein-Westfalen, we'll be choosing here Grundsteuer für andere Bundesländer. The reason for having different ones here is that only 5 states within Germany opted not to go with the federal calculation model, and those have slightly different and slight deviating questions, but we'll be choosing the one for Nordrhein-Westfalen, which you'll see here in the list once we click on the property there. Right, let's go on next. I didn't fill out anything yet, hence I'm doing this for the first time. There's no option to take over data from last time or any draft version which I might have saved. Hence we'll go on with ohne Datenübernahme fortfahren. Anlagenauswahl, the addendums to each of these property tax related questionnaire. Obviously we'll need to have the main form, which is Hauptvordruck, GW1. Anlage Grundstück is if I have a property which has been built upon, or a property, a plot. We'll be choosing the second one as well, in my case. If you have agricultural property, you'll be choosing this one. And if you also have livestock, holding livestock on that property, you'll be choosing GW3A as well. But in my case, we are putting in the facts and figures for an apartment which I own, hence the first two options will be clicked in here. Same goes if you have a house, a Doppelhaushälfte or a single family house, that all goes in the option 1 and 2. Clicking on next will get us to 8 pages, which we'll need to be filling out for form number 1, and around 8 other pages for form number 2. It's going to be pretty quick. All in all, it'll take around 15 to 20 minutes max, if we have all the data available to you. All right, let's start off. We are looking at facts and figures of the current year, of 1st January 2022, and you will have received an information from the finance authorities which data they have on file for you, for your specific property. I'm going to blend that in so that you know what I'm speaking about. And in this case, I also received within that same document the file number. Steuernummer is only for those who do not have a file number at hand, and it's only applicable for a couple of states. But in my case, I have the file number, Aktenzeichen, hence it's going to be a bit easy for me to fill things in. I'm in Nordrhein-Westfalen, and I'm just typing in file number which the finance authorities gave me, or is applicable for that particular property. And you will find that file number also once you have bought the property. In the first letter from the Finanzamt to you, they'll mention the Aktenzeichen. That is a unique identifier for that particular property. Persönliche Bearbeitungsnotiz is something which you can put in comments just for your own sake, for your own knowledge, so that you recall if you left off somewhere, or if you say, I don't remember XYZ, this is not going to be passed on to the finance authorities. All right, that's it for this page. So we are already at the next page. All right. We'll have Grund der Feststellung, which means what is the type of form you're putting in here. This is the first time you're filling in the form, so you're going to have Hauptfeststellung. If you're filling in this form in for the next year or next to next year, you might need to put in Wertfortschreibung or Nachfeststellung, which is the change of any values you put in here. But in my case, this is the first time I'm putting in values for this kind of property, hence I'm putting in Hauptfeststellung. Wirtschaftliche Einheit would mean or is asking for whether it is agricultural land, whether it is a building, a construction built on a plot, whether it is just a bare land, bare plot, or nothing of the above, right, or below. In this case, because it's an apartment, but same would go for a single family house or a multi-detached house, we are looking at bebautes Grundstück. Something has been built upon a plot. Let's go next. Already on page 2. This is easy. They're asking me for the street name. Let me just copy and paste this almost from the letter I got from the Finanzamt, so that there is no mistake. It's number 4, and this is going to be it. All right. Now, this option number 8, you only need to click if your plot, or there are multiple plots available which your building has been built on, and these plots are in different cities. That is only very, very rarely the case. So in my case, I know this is a single city plot, hence I'm not clicking this. We can go to next. All right, now let's have a look at Gemarkung und Flurstücke. These are the plot numbers of the said property. So I'm gonna, because I have 2 plots, I'm gonna have 2 in this case, but let's start with the first one. Gemarkung is the city in which it is in. Please use the exact phrase which is used either in the land register, which you already have at hand, or the letter from the Finanzamt, which you already have, so that there is no misunderstanding here. Grundbuchblatt is the unique identifier for that particular property, which is the page number of the land register, unique identifier as mentioned. Who is the plot? All right, so they don't want any leading zeros in this case. Fair enough. Flurstückzähler is the plot number, and Flurstücknenner is just next to it. Most cases it's empty, or it's, you can type in 3 zeros as well. The full plot size of this particular plot is 1960 square meters. And what of this plot do I own? It's 394 by 10,000. Number 11, you can have a look at your land register, which I can blend in here once again to see what part of the plot do you own in this case. All right. Now, in this case, you're putting in erste Fläche für dieses Flurstück gilt der in der Anlage Grundstück erklärte erste Bodenrichtwert, which would mean that whatever data you're putting in here, the value of the plot is based on this exact floor number and this exact plot number. All right, I mentioned that there are 2 plots which comprise of my property, hence I'm putting in another plot number, the same city, it's the same land register number, plot is almost same. So instead of 104, it's 118, it's the second plot. And this is 240 square meters. And in this case, I also own 394 shares of 10,000. And we are looking at this. All right, cool. Next up, so this part is done. Let's go to the next page. Now here they're asking who are the owners of this particular plot and this particular property. Now it could be you alone, then you'll be clicking on 0. You're sole owner of the property. In this case, in my case, my wife and me own 50% each. So I'm going to put in Ehegatte, which is my spouse, right? There could be other options if a company is owning a property or if you inherited the property along with other of your siblings, then you'll be putting in other values. But in my case, I'm putting in number 4 because I own this property along with my wife. All right, now I'm going to need to put in who is owning the property. So a couple of dates and names. In this case, it's my wife. So I'm putting in her name, date of birth, where she lives, we don't have a post box, we live in this place here. Not putting in a country because that's only if you were to live not in Germany, and the place where I pay my taxes, which is this one. All right. Now my tax number or my tax ID, Space in Nordrhein-Westfalen. Just need to quickly look it up and copy and paste it here. All right, so this Steuernummer tax ID you can find on your last income tax statement in the top left corner. So you know where to find it. Just copy and paste it from there. You'll also have a unique identifier Identifikationsnummer, which is pretty straightforward where to find it, because just below or above the Steuernummer you'll also find the tax ID, the Identifikationsnummer, so it's pretty straightforward. Now, how much does my wife own in that particular property? She owns 1/2. All right, so 1 share of 2. This one you don't need to put in because let's put it the other way, you only need to put in this if there's somebody representing this particular person owning the property. In this case, in my case, my wife does not have anyone representing her, hence just taking over whatever I have now and go to the next one. You can see here her name now, and because I own the other share, I'm putting in my values now here as well. I live here. Don't have a post box. This is my address. Don't live in a foreign country, and I'm paying taxes here as well. This is the state I'm paying taxes in. Okay, and my ID, I need to copy and paste because I don't know this one by heart. And I own 1/2 of the property as well. All right, because I'm representing myself, don't need to click anything here. And now I can go on. All right, so I've got 2 owners here, my wife and myself. And because we're done here, just check in once again. Exactly, it's the spouse here, so I can go next on nächste Seite. Now, if I were to be freed off or get some exemptions from property tax, which is in 99.9% of the cases not the case with you guys, neither is it for me. So I'm gonna just leave this blank. And I don't have anything else to say, neither to myself nor to the Finanzamt here. Go to the next case. Empfangsvollmacht is something which you can put in if somebody else needs to receive the letter of this property tax values, right? Could be your tax consultant or a third party who you're sending all your letters to. But in my case, I want to receive the letter of the values the Finanzamt calculated for me. So I'm going to put in next step. Nobody assisted me in putting all these values in, hence I'm not putting anything here. This is typically the case if your tax consultant is filling this out for you. Then he would need to put in his details here so that the Finanzamt knows that there is somebody officially and professionally assisting you in this case. But in my case, I've done this all on my own. All right, so I've done the main form here. Now we're looking at the exact property and the first addendum to the main form here, right? 8 pages only. Let's go on and have a look at the first one. All right, now they're asking me what kind of specific property is this, right? And in my case, Wohnungseigentum, it's an apartment which I own in a building. If you're uncertain what you own, you can have a look at your land register. And on the first page, it should say something like either Wohnungseigentum or Teileigentum. This might be the case if you own a parking spot in a parking lot, or whether it is a 1-family home, 2-family home, or just a bare land plot. But in my case, Wohnungseigentum, single apartment in a multi-story building. All right, let's go next. Again, they're asking me, is there any reason why you are already exempted from property tax? I am not. This might be the case if, let's say, you have had subsidies while building the plot, which clearly states that you are exempted from property tax, but in most cases will not be. I am not, at least. So let's go to the next page. Again, what are the exceptions, exemptions here? I don't have any, so let's go next. All right, now what's the exact value of the property here, right? Which you really own. So in this case, and this is a reason most people do this wrong the first time, in this case, you're only putting in the exact amount of plot which you really own. So in my case, if you recall, I put in 394 shares of 10,000 of a plot size 1960. That was the first one. So let's quickly calculate 394 divided by 10,000 times 1960. So 77.224 square meters really belong to me in this case. And because the system only accepts full numbers, we are putting in 77 square meters. And the Bodenrichtwert is the plot value per square meter. This you can take off the information letter which the Finanzamt already sent you. In this case, it is 570 euros. They say it's correct, so I put in the next. Click on yes, and then put in the next one. All right. Again, 394 shares of 10,000 times 240 in this case. That was a second plot, 9.456. We put in 9 at 570 euros and click OK. All right, so now they're saying, okay, you put in 2 plots earlier. You've already put in the maximum amount, so that's it, right? All right, next. Abweichender Entwicklungszustand if the property has not been built yet. And it's a bare land here, or you are expecting to be building soon, you're putting in this value. But in my case, it's already built property, hence you go to next. If you're uncertain on your plot value, you can click here on the question mark, and you'll have direct links to a tool called Boris, Bodenrichtwert, Informationssystem, which is free of cost. And you click here, put in your address, and you can clearly find out on what the plot value is per square meter for that particular address, right? But we know that already because we've had the information letter from the tax authorities here. All right, now let's go next. Now the tool wants me to put in, since when does this building when can the building, or when was the year of construction, and when could the first people move in, right? The first inhabitants, when could they move in? So we're putting in Gebäude hinzufügen, which is the putting in a value first. Was the building constructed before 1949, or was it built after that? In my case, it's 61. When was the apartment or building fully modernized? Now, obviously here, if you modernize the apartment or the house fully, the value of the plot, the building will have increased, right? Hence, you'll be paying more property tax. Most of the cases, a full modernization has not been taking place. What does the full modernization mean? It means that you modernize everything which could have been modernized, which is windows, heating, roof, including insulation, insulation outside, the outer walls. So all these things must have been modernized, only then will it be a so-called Kernsanierung. In most cases, that's not the case anyways. One of these 7 or 8 things which I just mentioned have not been done, hence it is not a Kernsanierung, not been modernized fully, right? Or number 16 here, is the building to be demolished soon? If yes, you need to put in a value so that it decreases the value of the building, right? And hence property tax would also decrease. So in this case, building of 1961, the first inhabitants could have moved in 1961. And I have a lot of questions on until the property was built in 2020, but we could only move in 2022 because it wasn't ready yet, right? So you'll be putting in 2022 as the time when you could have moved in, right? All right, next page. Do I have any garages or parking spots? In this case, I don't. So there's no exemption of taxes here, we'll go next. All right. Now it's on the size of the property, of the apartment which I own there. It's not 60 square meters, so I'll be searching for where it is. Oh, there it is. Between 60 and 100. In my case, it's 75 square meters. Oh, sorry, it's one apartment and it's 75 square meters. All right, now it's correct. So the first one asks you on how many apartments are we speaking about, and what is the living space here, right? It's only the living space. Beware, it's not the full space you have available. Let's say you are putting values in for a single house, and the topmost floor, you've got a slanting roof, right? Everything below 1 meter is not counted as living space. Everything between 1 and 2 meters of height is only half the space, and everything above 2 meters is really 100% of the living space, right? So beware of how to calculate this. Here you could be putting in too much, hence increasing your property tax, and vice versa if you're really correct and calculating your living space correctly, then you'll be saving a lot money on property tax for the coming years. Again, I don't have any exemptions here, and that's it. Clicking on next. Bei Mietwohngrundstücken weitere Nutzflächen, anything which is non-living space but could be used by the tenant in this case, but nothing like basement or Waschküche, place to keep your dryer and washing machine. I don't have anything there, but if I would have, I could tell them, look, this is the space where we use perhaps an office or storage room, and how much space that is, right? In this case, I don't have any, hence I'm not putting in any, right? All right, and that's it. So I've got one apartment which has been built in 1961. That's the summary of this page. Nichtwohngrundstücke, so plots which are not used for living. In this case, that's not the case. I've already done the apartment thing, so we can click on next. Zusätzliche Angabe bei Wohnungs- und Teileigentum. This is only to be filled in if you are you just purchased the property and you don't have any land register yet, and the exact shares are not known yet, which is rarely the case. If you only ask the court to create such a thing, then you would need to put in the value or the date here on which you ask the court to generate those land registers. But in my case, it's already done and dusted, so we can click on next here. This is only to be filled in if you have a leasehold property, so Erbbaurecht, which rarely is the case. If that is the case, you need to put in the properties here, and also who is the leasehold owner. It's going to be here, line item 37 and 38. But in my case, the property is owned by myself or by the homeowners themselves. Click on next. You'll find a summary of the form which we filled in. You can check this once and see whether everything is fine. You can print it. I would always keep a file for myself as a PDF so that I know what I filled in. If there are any questions from the finance authorities on Ajay, this is XYZ, we've got a question here, or something put in wrong, I only have a proof of what I sent in, and now we can send it. That's it. That's how easy it is. And if you've got any questions, just let me know.
If you're looking to buy a house or an apartment here in Germany for own use or as an investment and are looking for a loan to finance it, I'll be happy to guide you on which type of loan fits your purpose. In the video description below, you'll find my contact form so we can get in touch. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel so you're informed once I upload a new video. See you next time.